Alright everybody, it's now 3:55 p.m. on April 29th. I've had a very busy day, and the reason being is I just got my money, my few dollars that I get from the government. So what I noticed was a friend of mine was kind enough to check out my last video. I'm moving the camera a little bit. I'm trying to hold it now to get it better because the last video you couldn't even see. I apologize for that. So video 12 is very poor video, and I apologize. So what I wanted to show you here is I just came back to this house again at this would be 61 Eleanor, and you can see here where the house, you know, the images from Google Maps, they're not helping me. They're not helping me. But what's my issue? My issue is that the crown, see here you can see there's two doors, and that house should only have one door. So you can see there's a railing here and there's a railing here. So what's happened is it's moving. You see, that's a difference of 6 feet there, where I started the last video and I was looking at the driveway here where the curb is. Right in here there's a curb. So I'm trying to zoom it and show you guys. And that curb is a low curb, like if the driveway was low there. So this is video 13, and as far as what I'm gonna say, I don't know what else I'm gonna say now. And the reason being is because I don't know what I'm going to do about all this. I've been found guilty, and I'm going to time out. So if you watch video 3, you're going to be able to see how they're treating me. And I have no idea why they were trying to do what they did on that day in regards to video 3. But I say that, and I do know what their intention was as far as what they wanted. They wanted to put on the record that that was my pre-trial, and that now we're going to trial. So what are my issues? I don't have my disclosure, and I'm not representing myself. So I had a lawyer, was a legal aid lawyer, and he made an application. And what that means is they either make motions or applications. And what that means is you want to talk to the judge. So you make an application depending if it's a new matter, and you make a motion depending if it's something that's ongoing. So for whatever the reason, he makes an application, but what it means is he wants to speak to the judge. And his application was that he no longer wanted to be my lawyer also in the video 3 matter. So I had a legal aid lawyer, and what happened was he's supposed to serve me. So the judge, when I went a week before, she says, okay, well, prepare something and serve him. So the day before, the day that I mentioned when I read his letter in video 3, the day before, he serves me at the jail. So a sergeant comes to me in the jail and says, I've got something for you, and I sign for it, and then he gives it to me, and what it was a copy of his application. And then the next day, they never invited me to court. So this gentleman went by himself, and after the judge had already said, prepare some materials and serve him with them, he goes and sees the same judge. It was a lady judge, and then he gets his application granted once again. So for my Scarborough matter, where the police almost killed me, he gets involved, he makes a mess, can't get me bail, and then he bails out. And he found out that I have my $600,000 with the Ontario Public Guardian and Trustee because my cousin mentioned it to him during my second bail hearing. So they were aware of this. And I think that's the reason why he bailed out. But the point is, he did me a disservice, so I've complained about him. I've complained about maybe 20 lawyers now to the Law Society of Ontario. And I've complained about 13 judges now to the Canadian Judicial Council, which is why I say I'm on the radar, because I've complained about Superior Court judges to the Canadian Judicial Council, and I think that the previous Governor General knew of this, And then she bailed out. She resigned, and he accepted her resignation, Mr. Trudeau. And he says, I'll handle this. So that's why I have an issue with Trudeau. So I believe that I'm going to be successful, but I realize I cannot do this by myself. I need to have a lawyer. I will not even attempt to do this by myself. And I'm dreading the fact that I need to get a lawyer. So in the past, I've had no money. I couldn't get a lawyer. But now I have money. And I'm telling you, I don't know if I'm going to get a lawyer. So once again, I'm back at 62 Eleanor. And the reason why I keep coming back here is, I don't think I've told you guys before, the reason I keep coming back here is because this is where the police almost killed me, in this house. So you've heard many things that I've said about this house, but this is the scene of the crime. This is where I get cut. And how the Toronto police have handled it, I now have to get some more information, and then I might have some very good information to share that locks it up. But the thing is, I think his name is Ben Shapiro. He gave a good quote on a Rogan one time. I saw him, and he said that when you deal with these type of people in the government, you assume stupidity unless you can prove malice, is what he said. I think that's his quote. I think that's his material. And what happens is I've caught these guys so many times they have behaved illegally, and all I need is a lawyer that's going to see this through, and then I'm going to be fine. But the thing is, I'm dreading it, because these lawyers, they lie so much. I was just looking at it here. You see, it's doing the same thing on this house. You see, it's got 2 posts on this house here, two power cables. You see what I mean? These images are Google, but what's happening is, if you measure the distance, it's starting to change. And why it's critical is because I mentioned to you back here where how this driveway is, where I thought it was circular over here. So if the whole street has been rearranged, but the point is, I don't need to know about the whole street. So when I'm saying that to you, I'm purposely giving you information, but I'm purposely withholding information, and I'm enjoying it. So I'm building, let's say, there it is. You see, there's the curb again. So you know, I'm not prepared here. I'm just looking here. So there's the curb, and that makes sense because that's how I remember it. I remember that the driveway started very shortly into this yard. So this line jives with what I'm saying. So what happened? It's circled up. It's circled up. So if it's coming down over here, there's the arc. So that's what I'm telling you. I think the house was further down. It's like they moved the full floor plans, but it doesn't matter because the only houses that matter are this house, which is 65 Eleanor, I think, and then this white house that turns into the house with the circular drive. So what happened when I was there in July, I'm going to say 23rd now, and that's always been the date that I wanted to say, but I've been saying apparently the 22nd. I'm now saying the 23rd because I've now looked at that video that I teased that I was going to look at in video 8.5, if I'm not mistaken. I said as soon as I finished up with 8.5, I immediately looked at that disc. So we're going to talk more about that disc, but this is still pending, so I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But yeah, that disc, what happens is I say some things that I don't think I said, but the date, there's a date on there that's very critical, which is what I always maintained. So now it's going to get very interesting. So I need to get some information. You see that white house that was here is now changed to the one with the circular drive, and I already explained this. So what happens is I say on June 10th of 2021, that's my first appearance. That's my first appearance after being reincarcerated. So in the other video, I was saying it a little bit wrong, incarcerated. So when I'm playing back and listening to things, you know, I'm making some mistakes, but it's getting better as I go along. And you can see I'm not swearing like in the past. So what happens? It takes an awful lot to get me mad. I have a lot of patience. But the thing is, when I snap, then you gotta watch out. So you haven't seen me even coming close to snapping. When I'm speaking to that judge, I'm playing games with him because I know what he's up to. You see, the judges, they know what the outcome needs to be. So when you go and see a judge, what they do is they'll get you to talk because they don't know. They want you to talk. So when you're representing yourself, I'm telling you, don't even bother. You cannot represent yourself. And the reason why you cannot represent yourself is judges will not allow you to represent yourself. And you can see based on what's happened to me with the police here that almost killed me, how that was handled. And then also, as I mentioned to you in video 3, you need to see video 3. It's a must see. But the thing is, I'm not supposed to be saying this. So video 3 is a must see, but you're not hearing that from me. You need to check it out and see what's happened there. So the judges, they know what needs to be done, and that's why they behave the way that they do. So what happens if you talk to the police? What the police will say to you is, if it's something that's ongoing in the courts, we won't get involved. That's what the police say. So my point to you is, when the government wants to get you, what's their last tentacle? Their last tentacle of, I say, like octopus arms, the last tentacle, when they reach out and they want to grab you, how are they going to do that? How they're going to do that is they're going to send the police to you. And it's happened to me going back 10 years ago. That's how I got arrested. The police came to see me, and then he arrested me afterwards. He didn't arrest me that day because I told him something, but he was coming for me that day. So when the police show up at your house and they say, hey buddy, and they try to be your friend, they're trying to stick it up your ass. That's what they're trying to do. So as I already told you, it's just like in the movies. When the police come and talk to you, you do not talk. So what's happened now is they've fabricated a story, and I'm going to blow it away. But the judge forced me to go to trial, and then he said I was representing myself. And he also said that I was mental, that I had some mental health issues. So what I've done is, I didn't know, I complained to the Ontario Judicial Council. And what that is I can complain about justices of the peace and provincial court judges. I didn't know this. I was unaware of this. It's something that I've learned since I've been out of jail post January 6th of 2022. I didn't know this. So I've complained. I've complained about this judge. I complained about the judge in the past that found me guilty of 264.3. That doesn't even make sense. And I challenge all of you to look it up in the Canadian Criminal Code. What's applicable is, I want 264 that's related to criminal harassment, but it has to be 264, then parentheses, bracket, 3. Bracket, close bracket, closing parentheses. So 264.3. I've been tried and convicted of a charge that doesn't even make sense, which shows just how ridiculous these judges are. And that police officer who laid that charge is no longer a police officer. So if you go to traffic court and the police officer doesn't show up, they throw your ticket out. They say, get out of here, have a nice day. But when you're charged in a criminal offense, it looks like the judge has the discretion to go ahead. But this judge is an imbecile. And now we're going to see what happens. I'm going to be calling next week. I'm going to take it easy for this last day, and I'm going to get very busy. I'm going to start stirring up the hornet's nest again, because I need to know what's happening there. What's happened with my complaint in regards to these judges. So this judge in Scarborough, what he did was, he started my trial. He didn't start my trial in an ethical way. And he says, I need to use this lady, amicus curiae. And what that means is friend of the court. And then I found out since that she gets paid by legal aid. So who pays legal aid is the Ministry of the Attorney General. I've mentioned this before. And also duty counsel is also paid by legal aid. That's my understanding. Someone argued with me, said no, that I was wrong, that duty counsel is not paid by legal aid. So what's happening is, the government is making announcements in the past. Good news, we're going to give another $25 million to legal aid. I'm telling you, we need to get rid of legal aid because it doesn't help you. It's to screw you. It's another tool, like the word that they're throwing around these days when they say for the Emergencies Act that it'll give the police the necessary tools. It's another tool. What it is these people, they all get paid by the same people. They're all paid by the Ministry of the Attorney General. So your outcome is almost predetermined. It's a fix. And it's wrong. But legal aid has screwed me in the past. They have not helped me. And I told them now I'm going to sue them because they gave me a legal aid lawyer contacted me at the jail. I never applied for legal aid. So I told them that I'm going to sue them. And then what happens, this last guy, Steve DeLay, that I mentioned, that I told him on June 10th about the circular drive, and now there's a circular drive. This guy is a legal aid lawyer that the judge said he's going to be my special counsel, and then he never tried to get me bail. So I was back in jail on May 20th, and I got out of jail on January 6th. So when I was in jail, they came and talked to me about my court matter, my original trial. I said, I don't want to hear about it. I'm now here for this failure to comply charge, for my breach is what I thought it was. That's what I kept telling the jail. So what happened, eventually they brought me back, and my first court appearance date was after July 6th. The next time they wanted me to address the court was September 28th. I didn't know this because I went back on the 6th of July and I shut it down. And then they sent me some paperwork, and the page with the dates on it was missing. And then they brought me back, and I said, I'm only going for my failure to comply. That's through the jail. And then the jail sneaks me and says, okay, yeah, you're going for your failure to comply. And then when I go, they don't talk about my failure to comply through Steve DeLay. And then they try to continue on with my trial. So I shut it down. I said, no, that's not happening. I'm not continuing on with my trial. And then what happened is I signed a probation order on November 3rd, I'm saying, 2021. But it was dated October 29th. So I've told my friends, and now I'm going to tell you people, what must have happened is, on October 29, 2021, the judge says, Sammy Wong is back on the stand, and we're going to continue on with your trial. Mr. Marino, do you have anything to say? And then I said, yeah, I'm not going ahead with this. I've already shut this down. I told him so. So what happened? I leave. What must have happened is, they must have finished up with Sammy Wong, and then the Crown would have called 2 more witnesses, and then they would have gave their closing arguments, and then the judge would have instantaneously sentenced me, and then they would have gave their sentencing submissions, and then he also sentenced me. And all of this happens when I leave on October 29th. I was there on October 29th. So I leave, and I come back, I think it was past lunchtime. I want to say I left at 12 o'clock from the courthouse. So if that's the case, they only had a couple hours. That's an awful lot to happen. I'm going to tell you 100%. All of that didn't happen on this day. So something very fishy is going on here. And I'm now a criminal because of it. So I'm trying to deal with it now. And I'm going to do my best to deal with it. But what it is I need a lawyer. And I'm dreading it. I have money now, and I'm dreading it. I don't think I'm going to find a lawyer. And the reason is I want to sue the government. So I need a lawyer that's going to sue the government. And what I'm telling you is through the media, all of these personalities that you see on the news, I don't think any one of them is doing their job properly. The only guy that I thought was doing a good job was Brian Goldspan. Not Spun like this guy in Ottawa. Brian Greenspan. Brian Greenspan is his name. He was the one who represented the Learys there with that boat crash. But when you hear him talking in jail, what's happening when they write about it in the news, he looks like he's the only lawyer that's doing his job properly. But the thing is, the fix is on. What I'm telling you is, what I'm learning in my 51 years, and it's just become evident since the truckers, you cannot believe anything that you're being told. Not one thing. And no matter where you find it, YouTube, Twitter, on the news, the only way you know is if you actually see with your own eyes, and then you find out what's going on. You are not to believe anything that's being told to you. And that's the state of the world right now. This is going on in every democracy all across the world. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And I'm a guy that I now have the ability to take the government down. That's what I'm telling you. I have the ability to do it. All I need to do is to get a lawyer. I'm telling you, I don't think I'm going to get a lawyer. I'm dreading it. And I had a lawyer, and when I got out of jail, I said, all right, let's go ahead now. And he says, I can't help you anymore. I told one of the correctional officers in jail about that guy, and now he says he can't help me anymore. So anyways, that's going to do it for this video. And now you know what's going on. And I apologize for the last one because the video was so bad. You couldn't even see what I was talking about. So I'm holding the camera here trying to make it much better. But this is the main house right here. That's 62 Eleanor. That's the scene of the crime. Thank you so much. Be safe, and we'll be in touch. Thank you for listening. And have a good weekend. And I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you.